Hi, welcome to Coffee with Authors. My name is Shonna Slayton. I am the author of the YA novel Cinderella's Dress. My guest today is Austin Aslan, author of The Islands at the End of the World. His book is only, 9 days old, so this is a brand new book baby for him. Today we are talking about debuts. So Austin, welcome to the show, and how is your debut going so far?
Thank you, Shona, for having me so much. I really appreciate it. Debut is going great. Yeah, my baby's about 9 days old. She weighs in at 6 pounds, 3 ounces. She has all her fingers and toes, but it was a really long pregnancy. It was about 2 years. I think most elephants gestate in a shorter time period than that book.
Now, you're just coming off of the high of your book launch, which I was at. I'm still wearing Hawaiian lace. Your daughter was adorable. She was handing these out. Can you tell me a little bit about the behind the scenes? I always like to know how authors get ready for their big launch party, because that's a big deal.
Yeah, well, actually, that's an interesting question, because I think the debut book launch is kind of a big deal. It's this singular moment in time. And it's really exciting, but also I didn't want to be too bombastic about it either. I wanted it to happen for sure, but I didn't want to. I don't know. It's not the same as a wedding or anything. It's really weird being the only person, the only focus of attention at these events. Weddings are much. I've only had one, but I can compare the two events, and it's much more comfortable to be half of a pair than it is to be the singular center of attention at an event like that.
I agree, because it's all up to you. Everyone's watching you. It's not watching your bride this time.
And it's fun up to a point, but then the novelty quickly wears off, and you just want to escape and get out of there. At least that's true for me. Yeah. So planning, we wanted the book launch itself to just be about friends and family and celebrating this momentous milestone for me. But also, it's a public event, so we have to be mindful of other folks who are around, and we did have a private reception afterwards. So tying those two things together was a lot of fun for the evening, and it was really neat working with the bookstore that hosted the launch. They're very good at doing these sorts of events, and so I just kind of followed their lead and was very grateful for them for being such a wonderful pillar of support. And it was an independent bookstore, to be sure. I try to imagine doing something like this at one of the chain bookstores, and I just sort of draw a blank. But it was a very friendly crew, very familiar and happy and welcoming and warm faces at Changing Hands Bookstore in Tempe that really cares about this process. They don't just want to sell books, they want to connect people with books and readers with authors and all of those other neat dynamics that are going on when people pick up a book to read it. So, a wonderful experience.
Yeah, I had my launch at Changing Hands too, and they were wonderful. It's a big family, and they welcome you in as part of their family too. And that reminds me, what you did at your launch that I have never seen at any other launch, and it was sort of like a wedding-ish, is that you pointed out people who were there from out of town, and you had people from Hawaii, from Vancouver, Canada. I mean, it was a really neat idea, because that kind of brought everyone in together, because we kind of knew who we were sitting beside and how they were related to you and why they were there, and I thought that was really special.
Thank you. Yeah, that was one of my strategies for making it less about me only and sort of bringing everyone else into it as an event.
It was a trick, but no, it was really good. One of the things that I did at mine, I never thought of introducing people and talking about them. I did a little bit just sort of in the speech, because I point people out as they said things, but I had my book. And I found this idea off of Pinterest, and I'm going to hold it back because I don't want people's names being blasted. But I had everybody sign my book.
Oh, awesome!
That was there, so I could, it was like a guest book, and I got to see who was there. Because it's a blur, and you forget who was there, and you don't see everybody because everyone's, it's just busy. But yeah, it was kind of neat.
No, that's a great idea. I should have done that. That way, we all get the experience of signing each other's books.
Yeah, and this book is the first one I took out of the box, and it's the one that I signed, and I signed it to myself. Because you need the practice. I've never signed a book before, and you got to find where to put your hand on the page so that it's not falling off the edge, so you can still kind of awkward.
Well, I didn't even know what page to sign. But Eddie at Changing Hands had to explain to me traditionally which is the page that you sign. I mean, I've had books signed before, but I never pay attention to those details. And several days earlier, I walked into my Barnes & Noble just to see if my book was there, and they asked me if I wanted to sign them, and I said, sure. And I totally signed those books on the wrong page.
Oh.
Maybe they'll be worth a lot on eBay someday.
Yeah.
Silver lining.
Yeah. Oh, and I always forget this. I call this Coffee with Authors. I'm trying to get, just we're just sitting down chatting. I see you're drinking. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking coffee. Black. That's how I like my coffee, straight up. Well, and I got it in this awesome Grand Canyon National Park mug because I live in Flagstaff right now, and I'm about 60 miles away from the rim of the Grand Canyon. And yeah, it's a cool mug. You could really hurt somebody with this if you threw it at the head.
Well, this is mine. This is in honor of your Islands book.
Oh, I should have made a Mai Tai.
Yeah, so I bought this morning when I went grocery shopping. It's coconut mango tea.
Oh, cool.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Now, do you have any special moments from this week that you think you're going to remember, or are you still just surviving?
Oh, I don't know. The whole thing's been very special. I took a selfie of myself in the bathroom mirror of Changing Hands just before heading out to do this whole
That's what all authors do in the bathroom.
Yeah, that was that frozen moment of time, like breathe, and then it was time to open the door and head out onto the dais. But maybe that's not a very special moment. I don't know.
Little known facts behind the scenes from the author.
Yeah. I'm just rambling. You got me drinking coffee, and I'm going to be all high energy level and just spilling the beans on everything from here on out. Special. Well, I was really impressed with how so many people came from out of town to be at this event. Some of them had other things they were also doing, but a lot of folks made arrangements and timed everything so that they could be here in Arizona for this. And I was just really touched with the love and the support that I was getting. And on the launch day itself, one thing, I wrote about this on my blog. I wasn't expecting such an outpouring of enthusiasm from everybody out there on the intertubes. But, it was Tuesday, it was launch day. It's interesting living out here in Arizona because you're 3 hours behind the East Coast. So, I wake up at, 8 in the morning and it's already almost noon back east and the day is well underway and things are going and I've got lots of friends and family and support out east as well. And so to wake up to this groundswell of just enthusiasm out there as people were celebrating this book's birthday was really special and touching. And then it's getting
because you work so long all by yourself and and you really peek into what you're doing until it comes out.
Well, and then I like to talk about the book, and I'm pretty sure everyone is sick and tired of hearing about the darn thing. So it was neat to get that moment in time where everybody was sort of reciprocating and all that enthusiasm. Especially, I really enjoyed. I had an old friend from high school put together a little Instagram video of him traipsing out to his local Barnes & Noble and going inside and finding the book and cracking it open, and that was just really fun to see my friends getting so excited about everything.
That's really cool. Yeah, I like that. And you're right. It's this whole big long build-up. I just pulled out some of my memorabilia because we met at Yallapalooza.
Yeah.
This was back in January.
Also at Changing Hands bookstore.
At Changing Hands. And then we were thrown together again at Comic-Con. You know?
I still have my what do you call that thing? A lanyard?
Yes.
A Lennard? I'm an author. I should know these words.
Yeah. So yeah, and you know, we're doing these events, and our books aren't even out yet, and so now that they're out and people can see them, and it is fun. So this is show and tell today. I don't know. So back here, my brother made me this, which my non-sentimental brother, you know, can you see it? It's kind of shiny. It's got a book plate, and it's got my, you know, marketing stuff and my book.
That's great. That one's for the ages.
Yeah.
You got to hermetically seal that so that 5,000 years from now, when people have forgotten what books are, you know, it'll be a priceless item in a museum. You gotta think generationally about these things. Who knows your name?
Okay, so your debut week is done. Now it's debut month. So what do you got coming up?
Yeah, it's like those people who celebrate their birthday all month long. You know, I'm in the middle of my blog tour.
Wave. You're from Hawaii. You got to ride the wave.
Yeah. So I'm in the middle of my blog tour now, and my publicist at Random House, I think this is a smart move. She set it up for after the debut, so that, you know, it would be a moment for momentum to keep building. And so that's been fun to have that to look forward to every day. I'm doing interviews with different bloggers, and also a variety of different blogs of just reviewing the book, and I get to see the review when I wake up in the morning. And otherwise, things are slowing down a little bit, and I'm sort of, you know, coming down off of that high and just realizing that life goes on. And if I want to make a go as an author, I need to keep writing new stuff. I can't just hang out with this guy behind me all the time. You know, we live in a capitalistic world, and we got to keep producing new product, or we languish and die. So that's been on my mind lately. And in fact, I was late getting to our call this morning because I was busy working on revisions for the sequel to this book, and I just shut myself off. You know, I went to a park and I was just working because I'm a bit on deadline for that. So that's a nice reality check. I can't just sit there and click on my, you know, Goodreads counter all day long. I've got other things I need to be doing as well. And several other ideas are in the works. I'm going to be shopping around a new manuscript soon, so just trying to gear up for all of that stuff. And then let's see, the other thing that's been really neat for me this week was the national, or I don't know if national is not the right word, but Goodreads sends out its monthly newsletter, and to every email subscriber that Goodreads has. And they have named my book one of the top 5 movers and shakers for the month of August. Hey, and that has created, well, yeah, that's been fun. It's created a lot of buzz and momentum and exposure for the book that I don't think would have been there otherwise. So it's a nice boost. And that's a fun thing to get. You know, people are sending me screenshots of their email from parts of the country. So I know everybody's getting it. There's a lot of parts to Goodreads newsletters that are personalized, that they cater specifically to the kind of books you like, and that's all up at the top. But then it gets more general at the bottom, and I believe my book's there on everyone's email. So that's been really exciting. You know, these are little moments, but they're what we have to celebrate as debut authors, because nobody knows who we are yet.
Well, that's changing, yeah. You know, I kind of view it as, you know, you've got this big rock, and, you know, to get it moving, there's a lot of inertia. You start it moving, you just sort of blast it as hard as you can at the beginning. It starts to move, and then hopefully it's got enough that it's going on its own, and then every so often, you know, you just give it another little shove to keep it moving, and spreading the word.
Yeah, that sounds perfect. Or, you know, it's the Wile E. Coyote thing, and you're trying to leverage this boulder off of the end of the hill, and then it ends up steamrolling over you.
Yeah, okay, that's a good place to end. Thank you, Austin.
Yes, the promises and the perils of the debut experience.
Maybe that'll be the subtitle when I post this up on YouTube, just for everyone.
Go ahead. Feel free to use it.
Well, I want to thank you so much for joining me on Coffee with Authors. I'm still learning all the tech that goes along with Google Hangouts and all that, and so I'm glad you were game.
Yeah, thank you so much, and I'd be happy to come back and return to this with you. It's this has been fun.
All right, great.
This is one of those special moments that you were asking me about earlier. I just realized I'm having a new one right now.
Aw, well, thank you so much, Austin.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity. Appreciate it.
Okay, well, thank you for joining us. Everyone, I hope you enjoy. Oh, where can we find you? Want to give your...
I'm right here in this living room most days, so
we can track you on Google. What is it?
On Twitter, my handle is Lost in Space, but that's spelled LAUSTINSPACE. And that's a great place to start. I'm pretty open on Facebook, so come and follow me on Facebook. Most of my posts are public. And I also have an author page on Facebook, but I tend to focus most of my information energy just on my regular Facebook page, which is an interesting, by the way, that's an interesting thing as a debut author, sort of beginning to become a public person, how to balance all that and where all that, starts and ends, and it's going to be a little bit of a learning experience trying to figure out those boundaries. But anyway, there you have it, and those are great places to find me. My book's also on Goodreads. I definitely would love it if you'd go there and click on, make my book something to put in your queue to read, and you can follow the book from there to any store that you want to purchase it from, too. So.
All right. Sounds great. Again, everyone, here is the book. And thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time.
Okay. Take care.